Hello, thank you for tuning in today. Our practice today, we'll be doing a yin style of yoga. So yin is a subtle, passive type of a yoga practice. But even within the subtleness, sometimes postures can tend to be a little intense because we'll be holding postures for a little while today. A yin practice, we move into a posture and we might hold it for 2, 3, 4 minutes. And that's what our practice will be like today, focusing pretty much on the whole body. Our practice is focusing on balancing the chakras. So chakras are energy points, or you can think of them as subtle energy centers that run along the length of the spine. And there are seven that are recognized as the main chakras. And those are the ones that we'll be dealing with today. There are thousands of them, but these 7 main ones that run along the spine is what we'll focus on. So chakra in Sanskrit means wheel. So the chakras could be thought of as spinning wheels of light and energy. And as we move through the sequence, I'll talk a little bit more about each chakra, but a really quick rundown is the first chakra is at the base of the spine, associated with grounding and stability. Right. Second chakra is in this space between the navel center and the top of the pubic bone. And the second chakra is associated with flow and movement. Third chakra, located at the navel center, is associated with willpower, determination, motivation. The fourth chakra at the heart, Anahata, is associated with love, compassion. Heartfelt expression. The fifth chakra at the throat, Vishuddha, is associated with speaking your truth. Right? You can get a sense of the location of these and how they coincide with those emotions that are associated with those areas as well, right? So speaking your truth here in the throat. Between the brows, the sixth chakra, Ajna, is, think of this as like your sixth sense, intuition. And then the seventh chakra at the crown of the head, associated with let's say our cosmic connection, right? Anything, our connection with the universe outside our physical body, right? And we'll be going through balancing the chakras, as well as learning a little bit more about each of them as we move through. Primarily, our practice will be yin style. We'll be doing a couple of things. We'll add a little bit of movement and some breath practice as well today. You might like to have a couple of blocks, a blanket, a cushion, something like that to bring along for your practice today. And we'll begin seated. So just go ahead and take a comfortable seat, sit up tall. Feel free to sit yourself up on top of a blanket or a block as we begin our opening. So sitting tall, let your eyes soften and close. And before we begin any practice, as we close the eyes, we take an opportunity to tune in. To tune into where you are right now in this moment, right? Physically, what sensations are drawing you in? What's calling you in? And what do you notice? And digging in a little bit deeper, are there any particular emotions that are calling out to be noticed, or maybe particular thoughts or thought patterns? We're not judging anything we discover. We're just simply tuning in so that you can meet your body where it's at today. And then please let your awareness rest now with your breath. Just watching the breath as it moves in, as it moves out. And now we'll practice pranayama. I'll just call it a 360 breath. As you take your next inhalation, fill the body completely, right? So fill the lungs, top to bottom, front to back, side to side, and exhale completely. Inhale, fill the body, fill the breath, fill the lungs. Exhale completely. Take 5 more like this on your own. As you inhale, filling the whole totality of the lungs, of the body with the breath. And then each exhalation, letting the breath go. Good, a couple breaths more here. One more full breath. And keeping eyes closed here, if you wish to set an intention for your practice, then allow that to come into your thoughts, into your heart. And let's blink the eyes open. And we'll begin the practice with a clearing activity. So let's everyone come all the way up to stand, please. So as you come up to stand, bring your feet so they're, let's say, shoulders distance apart with the toes slightly turned out. And think athletic stance. So the knees are not locked out, knees are soft. Okay. And here's how this breath practice works. I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration and then we'll go through it 3 complete times. All right. So remembering the location of the chakras, we got base of the tailbone, above the pubic bone, navel center, heart center, throat, third eye, and crown. Okay. Those are the 7 energy centers working with today. All right, so the breath practice looks like this. We take the hands kind of cupping the left hand on the bottom, right hand on top, and we'll take 2 quick inhales. And then as you exhale, press the palms down and 2 exhales. Now we do this breathing in and out through the nose. And then the next breath up, double up, we go to the second chakra, turn the palms down, double exhale, press down, kind of bending the knees into a bit of a squat, okay? And then the third chakra, good, exhale, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Once we get to the 7th and we come all the way up, turn the arms out and lower the arms down and around you like a big rainbow, okay? And again, we'll go through this 3 times completely. All right, let's begin. Hands in front. Good, let's take a full deep breath in and we'll exhale first. All right, first chakra. Second. Navel center, third. The heart. The throat. Third eye. Crown of the head. And lower the arms all the way down around you. Good. Another big inhale. Start with the exhale. Double up. Base of the tailbone and release. And above the pubic bone and release. Good. Double inhale, navel center and release. Heart center and release. The throat. Or third eye. And crown and lower. Good. Once more, big in breath Exhale. All the way down, arms by your sides. Let the eyes soften and close. Just take a moment and pause. Notice the effects. And if you've closed the eyes, let them open. And now heel toe your feet in. So heels are underneath your knees. And we're standing in Tadasana or mountain pose. So mountain pose brings us to the first chakra. Turn your palms forward by your sides. Keep the chest open, shoulders down. And then legs are grounded here. So firm the feet into the earth. And then as you press down, start to draw energy up the front of the legs. So it feels like your kneecaps are lifting up towards your hips. Continue drawing that energy right into the low belly. Navel draws back to the spine and then up to the ribs. Feel how that supports the lengthening of your spine. Continue lengthening all the way up through the crown of the head. So Tadasana, mountain pose, is the epitome of grounded stability, right? We are imagining that we are like a mountain, that we are connected with the earth. So this is the first chakra, Muladhara. The color is red, and the element is earth. This chakra is associated with being grounded, being stable, right? Having all of your needs met. Physically in the body, it's associated with the legs, the hips, right? All of this heavy bone energy in the legs. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Strong as a mountain. Good. If you've closed the eyes, blink the eyes back open. You can wriggle the legs around, shake the arms a bit. And let's come all the way down onto our mats for the second posture. Second posture we'll take also for the first chakra, Muladhara, is caterpillar. So in caterpillar pose, we take both legs and extend them out in front of you. So legs extend out. Begin with the legs so that they still kind of look like mountain pose, right? So they're parallel, they're, the feet are still about hips distance apart and toes are turned to point up toward the ceiling. Now, if your legs don't go straight here, no problem. Bend the knees as much as is appropriate. So we want to get to a point where the hips are tilting the torso forward, right? So if extending the leg straight causes you to kind of sit like this, like you're being sucked backward, then that's where bending the knees can come in very helpful. You could also elevate the hips, right? So you could elevate the hips, which will help with that forward tilt to the pelvis, or you could take a rolled up blanket or towel, whatever it is that you have, and you could place this underneath the backs of the legs. All right, just some options for you. Take a big inhale here. As you exhale, tilt the torso forward, right, to any degree. So some of you might be pretty upright here, which is perfectly fine. Stay there. If you have the ability, the flexibility to drop in deeper, then do so. So as we move in to the posture in a yin posture, you move in only as far as you can where you start to feel sensation. So as soon as you feel that first sensation of stretch, you pause there. Pause there and breathe. And then over the time that we're here, we'll let gravity and time carry you in deeper. So if it's comfortable for you, feel free to drop the head weight down. That'll also give you some nice stretch along the spine, the back of the neck. And then there's always this temptation, at least I think in my body there's this temptation to want to pull you in deeper, right? But remember that yin is a passive stretch. So we don't want to pull ourselves in and engage the muscles. See if you can soften and relax the muscles of the legs. Let the hips, the legs be heavy. We're not engaging them anymore. Just soften the feet. And release the hips, the legs. And then to help with you resisting the temptation to pull in, wherever your arms are resting, turn the palms up. Right? If you turn the palms up, then it's not so easy for us. We have to consciously adjust to pull in deeper. That way we can really just let the arms soften and relax. So if there was a mantra associated with the first chakra, Muladhara, we might say, I am, right? I am. It feels very definitive, very grounded, stable. I am. So you might mentally recite that mantra while we're here in this posture. Or maybe in your mind's eye, you are visualizing at the base of the tailbone a spinning red wheel of light. Remembering red is the color of the first chakra. We'll stay here for about 3 more breaths, please. And now turn the palms down, and you'll use the strength of the arms to bring yourself upright. So that way we're not pulling ourselves up with the low back. Right, bend the knees. If you had any props in there, pull them on out, set them off to the side. We'll bend the knees, and let's now take soles of the feet together, and the knees will drop open wide. Sometimes I see students when we drop into this posture, in yin it's called butterfly. I see students grab onto the ankles and kind of yank the feet up closer to the groin. Instead of doing that, let the feet be kind of far away so that we've got a nice big shape here. By taking the feet farther away, we're going to focus the stretch sensation in the outer hips and thighs rather than inner thigh and groin. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't also feel this in inner thigh and groin, okay? And again, we are forward folding. So position yourself in such a way that it feels like the torso is tipping forward. An option to use the blocks might be to place those blocks underneath the outer knees or thighs, especially if dropping them open like this causes tension in the inner thighs or pulling in the groin. Okay, I'm going to take mine out because I don't care to have them today, but maybe you do. And take an inhale, lengthen the spine, and on an exhale, tilt your torso forward to whatever degree feels appropriate. Again, you can drop the head weight down if that feels okay, if it feels good. And you might even close the eyes again here. So this shape brings us up to the second chakra. The second chakra is called Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana, its color is orange, and it's associated with flow, with creativity. The element is water, so you can see why flow is kind of what this chakra is all about. So if there were a mantra associated with the second chakra, we might say, I flow, I feel. We'll stay here a little while longer, a few breaths more. Physically in the body, this chakra is generally associated with all things liquid in the body, right? Lymph, blood, other fluids. And because of, you can imagine its location, it's also physically associated with the sexual organs, reproduction. And last breath here. And once more, we will use the arms to press yourself upright. Good. All right, staying with the second chakra, we'll take a pose called Dragonfly. Now I'm turning sideways on my mat now, so that way my heels stay on the mat. Depending on your surroundings, you might do that as well. So we'll take a wide leg straddle position, and once more, it will be a forward fold. So elevating the hips is really helpful here to get that forward tilt on the pelvis. Bending the knees is really helpful here as well, especially if inner thighs, groins, or hamstrings, back of the legs, are really tight. So feel free to bend those knees as much as you need to. I've even had students in the past plant the soles of the feet on the floor so they can access that forward fold. Again, props underneath are really nice as well. We'll take our big inhale. And as you exhale, slowly make your way in. So walk the upper body forward until you feel that first bit of stretch. And once you feel that, pause, stay there. Stay there and settle in, drop in. I flow, I feel. This chakra is all about your go with the flow attitude, creativity. Remember, the color is orange. So you could either mentally repeat the mantra, I flow, I feel, or maybe visualize in the space of the second chakra and a spinning orange wheel of light. Breathing more deeply into any areas of holding, gripping, tension. And as we hold these poses for a little bit longer this morning, you might notice that as time goes on and you drop deeper into the pose or deeper into the stretch, that you get to a point where the body might start to tense or tighten up. Do your best to breathe through that and soften, release the gripping and the holding, release the muscle energy. Letting the feet relax, the legs relax, the thighs not contracting. Hips are still heavy here. We're still grounded through the first chakra. We've got 2 breaths more. And then on an inhale, use the arms, use their strength to bring you upright. Take hands to the inner knees and lift those thighs up, bringing the feet to the floor. Take your hands, please, back behind you and let those knees windshield wiper side to side. We'll be preparing for a twist, which is coming up next as we move up to the 3rd chakra. So as you're dropping the knees side to side, maybe you can allow the torso, the heart, to twist the other way. So as knees go to the left, heart moves to the right. As the knees move to the right, you might twist the upper body to the left. Take 1 or more each direction. Beautiful. Please go ahead and lie all the way down onto your backs. And as you lie down on your back, bring the knees in towards your chest. Knees in, rock a little bit side to side. Notice the broadness of the hips here. Now we'll take a reclined twist with the knees still lifted. Release your arms out like a T. So you can either extend the arms straight or maybe you bend the elbows like a cactus. Keeping the feet off the floor, we'll lower both knees to your right. So the left thigh and hip are on top. Now, as you lower them, aim the knees towards your shoulder. So as you drop into the twist, your knees will end up higher than your hips. Okay? A couple of suggestions as you get yourself settled in here. If the thighs don't come all the way to the ground, then grab one of your props, a blanket, a blanket, a block, or something like that. You could stuff it underneath the outer thigh. You could also support underneath the left arm if that shoulder is not resting comfortably on the floor. Okay. By keeping the knees higher than the hips, we reduce the chance of tweaking the lower back, the lumbar spine, because it keeps the pelvis relatively balanced here. So hopefully you're feeling that in this shape. You might complete the spinal twist by turning your head to look to the left. This deep twist is associated with 3rd chakra. 3rd chakra is called Manipura. Manipura is colored yellow. And Manipura is associated with willpower, determination, motivation, transformation. You could kind of think of the 3rd chakra like that fire in your belly, right? We all have to have that drive. If there was a mantra associated with this chakra, it would be, I can, I do. Little while longer. Two more breaths, please. For this last breath in this pose, come back to that big 360 breath. So fill the body completely with breath, filling the lungs on all sides, all directions, and then exhale completely. And slowly exiting the posture on your next inhale, coming back onto your back, knees in, and then lower the feet all the way down to the floor and just pause for a moment. Let the arms come by your sides. Tune into the sensation. And then watch as that sensation dissipates, softens. In Yin, that's called our rebound. Let's sit up for side two. Bring those knees back in toward the chest, and you can have hands on the knees, rock a little side to side if you like. Once more. And then keeping the knees lifted, feet off the floor, take the arms out wide, like again, the T or the cactus. And then lowering both knees to your left, aiming them toward the left shoulder. Right thigh and knee are on top. As you start to settle in, decide whether props are appropriate or called for, right? You might, again, put something underneath the left thigh or knee on the side. Some students even like to take a cushion, a pillow or something, and put it between the knees. That can help bring some more ease and balance to the hips as well. And adjusting where the right arm is placed, either straight out or maybe you bring it up alongside the ear for a deeper stretch to the right shoulder, right side of the chest. Completing the spinal twist, if you like, by turning the head to look over your right shoulder. And then as you scan the physical body at the beginning of the posture, notice if there's tension, tightness, or holding anywhere, any gripping. Can you use the breath and soften? Soften the gripping and holding. Returning either to your mantra, I can, I do. Visualizing that spinning yellow wheel of light at the navel center. A little while longer, a few breaths more. Last full breath here. Make it one of those big, full 360 breaths. Expanding the breath on all sides, and then exhale completely. And then slowly untwist, moving back onto your back slowly. Rest the feet back on the floor, arms by the sides. And once again, just pause. Notice the effects. Notice the sensation. And then watch as the sensation softens, dissipates. We'll make our way up to sit. Actually, not even sit. We're going to actually flip all the way over on your belly. So you could either bring the knees into the chest, rock side to side, roll over on your side and come up to sit, or you could rock forward and back on your spine as well, if that's okay for your spine. And then flip yourself all the way over. So we're going to come to lying down on your belly. So lying down on your belly for Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose takes us up to the fourth chakra. The fourth chakra is called Anahata, or heart. Please bring elbows right underneath your shoulders, forearms extended straight out in front of you. If you're not sure of the proper distance, a great way to check that is just take hand to opposite elbow and then release the forearms out in front of you. That ensures that your elbows are about stacked right underneath the shoulders. If this becomes too intense for the low back, then you will walk your elbows farther forward to flatten out the low back and take the arching out. But if you're okay to stay here, keep those elbows right underneath your shoulders. Legs extend straight back behind you. And while we're here, you may keep the head lifted or drop the head down. Then we add a nice stretch to the back of the neck, maybe feeling it in the space between the shoulder blades, the back of the heart. So in a way, this is a supported back bend, a passive back bend. Back bends are really heart openers or spinal extensors. So we're extending the spine and then allowing it to find its own shape, its arching, make space between the vertebrae. So Anahata is associated with love, compassion, giving and receiving love. Its color is green. So green is the color associated with the heart chakra. Scanning the body, just to ensure every once in a while we're not gripping and holding. Sometimes that gripping can sneak up on you over time in the pose, right? You might start completely relaxed, and then as time goes on and you drop in deeper into the pose, you might find that results in some gripping or holding, right? So check out the legs here. Relax the feet, the calves, the thighs. We're not energizing them anymore, just letting the legs be heavy, not squeezing the glutes. Do your best to not tense the low back. And what about other areas that we might habitually hold? You might not even notice, right? Maybe you're holding tension in the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. Anahata, color green, right? One more breath here. And to exit the posture, walk your arms, your elbows forward. Stack the hands or the forearms, let the forehead rest. You might like to separate the legs a little bit more now, bringing more ease to the low back. And then as the sensation dissipates, maybe a shimmy of the hips, side to side, releasing any tension or holding that you might have built up in the low back. Please place hands under the shoulders now, next to the ribs. So thumbs are next to your ribs. Keep the elbows from flaring out. So squeeze the elbows together on the back and then press yourself up from the floor onto all fours. So once you come onto all fours, we'll do a pose now called Anahatanasana, or melting heart pose. You could use a blanket for this posture or even blocks out in front of you. All right, so start on all fours, hands and knees, and now take the hands and walk them so they're extended out in front of the shoulders. So we feel a little awkward at first. Then melt the heart down. So your heart is dropping down, forehead might come to the front edge of that blanket or block, prop, whatever you have there. And then you can bend the elbows and soften the forearms down. Notice I'm keeping the hips relatively stacked over the tops of my knees. So it's almost like the spine is hanging from the hips like a hammock, and the heart is melting down, opening up. If there was a mantra associated with this chakra, you might say, I give and receive love. Or maybe you're continuing to visualize a spinning green wheel of light at the heart center. We won't be holding this posture quite as long, but let's stay here for 2 more breaths, please. And then hands underneath your shoulders to press yourself up off of the floor. Please take a seat. As you take a seat, simple cross-leg position, we are now moving up the chakras, up to the 5th chakra. 5th chakra is throat center. It's called Vishuddha. Vishuddha is associated with speaking your truth or expression, communication. The color turquoise, generally it's turquoise, depending on yoga philosophy. Sometimes you might hear other colors there, but I generally speak about Vishuddha being turquoise in color. And while there are some postures that we could do to open the throat chakra, a really great practice is Ujjayi breathing, this is the breath where you go in and out through the nose, but we're contracting the throat. The same way that you would contract the throat muscles if you were whispering, right? You have to whisper and you can feel that contraction in the throat. Or fogging up a mirror or glass, right? So let's do this. Everyone take your right hand, bring it up in front of your face so the palm is in front of you. Let's take a full deep breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, sigh it out like you're trying to fog up that mirror that's right in front of you. Good, do that again. Deep breath in and sigh it out. In through the nose. This time, keep your lips closed. But sigh it out. Good. You can release the hand down now if you like. In through the nose, out through the nose. But feel that constriction in the throat. And in and out through the nose, but breathing or feel as though you're drawing the breath in through the throat. Usually it's relatively easy for a student to find that Ujjayi breath on the exhale. Can you also try to find that Ujjayi breath on the inhale? So rather than sniffing through the nose, breathe through the nose, but draw the breath in through the throat. Relax the shoulders, the neck, the jaw as you continue to breathe. We'll take 5 or 6 more breaths here on your own. About 3 more breaths. And then release the Ujjayi breath and blink your eyes open. We'll take one more posture for the throat chakra. This one also kind of bridges that gap or kind of joins the heart chakra and the throat chakra. So we'll be doing a supported back bend of sorts, but we'll drop the head back to open up the throat. So a couple of options for you, okay? So I'll show you one way to do this, just with a rolled up blanket or towel. Now, if you have other props like a bolster, feel free to just go ahead and use that. So I'm taking the blanket and I'm making a nice roll, like a little burrito roll. And I'll place this toward the top of my mat. And then I'll turn to sit in front of it. I'm going to stay on the ground, but the blanket roll is up close next to my hips. And then I'll ease my way back so that my spine rests on the blanket roll. Arms will be by the sides with the palms turned up, and then extend the legs long, stretching them out for Matsyasana. Now, alternatives here, you could, if you've done this with me in class before, you could support with blocks as well, right? If you don't have a blanket, use some other kind of prop or block for this. And then allow your eyes to softly close. Tuning back into 5th chakra at the throat, turquoise. So maybe you see this spinning turquoise wheel of light at the throat chakra. Or maybe use the mantra here of I speak, or I speak my truth. Four more deep breaths, please. And then we'll slowly start to exit the posture. You can inhale, bend the knees, bring your feet to the floor. Remembering that you're elevated up on something. So roll off of it all the way over onto your side, and then press yourself all the way up using the strength of the arms. If you had, or whatever prop you had that you were using there, you can go ahead and set that off to the side. And come back over, flipping over once more. We'll take child's pose or Balasana as we move up to third eye chakra, the sixth chakra. So hips to the heels, add any space, any props here that you like. If you need extra cushion underneath the knees, then you could take a blanket there. Some people like to put cushion behind the knees so we don't get that pressure behind the knee. And then we'll take the head and bring your head down so the forehead is resting. So some of you can take the forehead right to the floor and bring your arms. If the forehead's not coming comfortably to the floor, grab a block or a cushion or something and bring that in to let the forehead rest, or make fists, stack them and let the forehead rest that way. So as you get settled in, scan the body, note any tension or holding, try to soften and release. So we've made it up to the sixth chakra now, Ajna. Ajna's color is indigo blue. And this chakra is kind of like the forehead, the space between the brows. And this is associated with intuition, right? That sixth sense. It always reminds me of the movie Sixth Sense. Maybe you guys remember that one with Bruce Willis. I see dead people. Right? That's that intuitive sense, that intuitive nature. If there was a mantra associated here with the sixth chakra, it would be I see. I just continue to silently repeat the mantra, maybe visualizing a spinning wheel of indigo blue light at the third eye, the space between the brows. We'll take a couple more breaths here. Bringing hands under the shoulders. Slowly press yourself up. And once more, come to sit. So think coming to sit for a meditation. So you might sit up on the heels. You might sit cross-legged, whichever works best for you. Add any props that you like underneath your seat so that you feel really elevated in the spine, lengthened in the spine. And we'll take Jana Mudra for this. So tip of the thumb and index fingers pressed together, other three fingers extend, and then we place the hands on the thighs or the knees with the palms face up. All right, so this is Jana Mudra. This is a meditation mudra. You will often see yogis depicted this with this mudra in a meditation. As you sit tall now, let your eyes soften and close. We've made our way up to the seventh chakra, crown of the head, or more accurately, the space above the crown of the head. the sixth chakra or the seventh chakra, Sahasrara, is associated with cosmic connection, or I like to think of it as everything that I'm connected to outside of my physical body, right? That community connection, that energy, whatever your belief is, a higher power, right? Sahasrara. The color associated here is either violet flowing into bright white, sometimes it's the reverse. It's like a white light flowing into violet. So you might imagine that colored wheel of light up above the crown of the head, spinning. And in your mind's eye, as we stay in meditation for the seventh chakra, turn your awareness to that space at the crown of the head, or again, above the crown of the head, a space just above you. A mantra associated with the seventh chakra. I am connected to source. All is well. Soften the shoulders, the neck, release tension in the jaw. Continue to breathe, either reciting the mantra or visualize that spinning wheel of light at the seventh chakra. At the end of your next exhalation, release the mudra. Stay here, continue to stay tuned in. And our final and most important posture, Shavasana. See if you can make your way to Shavasana with the eyes still closed. Now, if you need to open them to see where you're going, to adjust props, then do that. But make your way all the way down onto your backs for Shavasana. Extending the legs, turning the palms up by your sides. And just let everything rest. Body as well as the mind. Allowing your body to integrate the practice. Let's take a deeper breath in now. And exhale completely. Another deep breath in as you call the energy back to the body, maybe wiggling fingers, toes, or gently rocking the head side to side. Maybe even stretch those arms overhead for a sweet feeling stretch. And then we'll eventually make your way back up to sit. So rolling to one side or the other. And press yourself all the way up. Sitting tall, perhaps with eyes still closed. And please join the hands in Anjali Mudra, palm against palm. And just visually in the mind's eye, we'll take one quick journey back up and down the spine through the chakras, the base of the spine, see the color red. Space just above the pubic bone, see the color orange, second chakra. Third chakra at the navel center, yellow. Fourth chakra at the heart, green. Turquoise at the throat. Indigo blue, third eye. And violet into a bright white light at the crown. And then back down, violet to bright white, indigo blue, turquoise, green, yellow, orange, and red. And I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.